where are you guys at on this college football NCAA sport NIL settlement situation? Because as we've been talking about on the show for probably the better part of 6 months now, this House versus NCAA lawsuit that is happening basically is a class action of former college athletes to get retroactively paid NIL money that they were denied. And I think it is undeniable that they were denied NIL opportunities. Well, now, as we have been telling you, the only resolution to that case and the others is to settle, and it is going to be billions. Well, Ross Dellinger, amongst others, is now reporting that a settlement is nearing and that the NCAA is wanting to settle. And our sources tell us here on the Monty Show that most administrators are on board and most recognize this is a $1 billion price tag to settle this lawsuit. But part and parcel of this settlement is the fact that NIL now will become a revenue sharing proposition, which, notice that language is not accidental, nor did I say athletes will become employees, because as we've told you on this show, that's never going to happen. But what is going to happen is NIL revenue sharing will now be a thing, and revenue sharing from the college to its athlete will now become a thing. And I think this is the only eventuality that was ever going to play out, because the athletes are the ones making the money. The NCAA is not. And Jake, I think this is justifiable, and I think it is actually the right thing for the college athlete.
Absolutely. And I think when you look at it from the different sides of the conversation, it makes sense for everybody. So like if you look at it from the side of the NCAA, it makes sense for them, right? Obviously, the NCAA isn't trying to be in more litigation. They're not trying to cause more issues for people. They're simply tasked with enforcing the rules of college athletics. And, you know, this conversation is helping to smooth those rules out, to change those rules and regulations around the way money flows to the athlete. And I think, you know, NIL, and we see this all the time in business, right? Where like opportunities like NIL come up and everybody just jumps on it, right? Like, oh man, hey, we can brand ourselves through an athlete. Jump on it, jump on it. Oh, we're a private jet company. Let's endorse every single quarterback known to man, right? We saw that wave happen in NIL.
Yeah.
And the problem with that is that there was no structure around how we were doing any of that. It was like, hey, here's your check. You're now an ambassador or whatever. Like, that's it. And the hard part is, because it's an unequal playing field and not a level playing field in college athletics, specifically football, you have the bigger brands taking advantage of this. And so now we're starting to get settlement talk, because it can only go so far. And so the idea that, hey, you know, maybe each school, as part of this settlement, maybe each school gets $10 million, $20 million of a fund to pay their athletes. Maybe that's how we go about this.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think what you are going to see is every university is going to have to kick down, because they're all members of the NCAA, right? You're going to have to kick down to athletes, and it's going to be billions. Once that is settled, I think you move forward, and I think you are going to have to create a fund to pay players part of the profits that those universities are recognizing. And I think that NIL is going to be completely different from that. I think NIL will be a different model, or I should say a different revenue stream for players than that profit sharing. But I do think it's all going to fall under the same umbrella, because I don't think there's any doubt that it is inevitable that universities will administrate NIL funding. The universities will, I think, have to have NIL deals for their revenue streams, where they will broker, you know, Jimmy's Ford store will give every one of the players a truck, and, you know, or if you're a Toyota university or whatever you are, hey, that manufacturer will pay you $50 million and every player gets a truck on the football team. So the university makes money and the players make money. It's not unlike BYU's Built Bar deal, where BYU got, a deal with Built Bar, and Built Bar paid everybody scholarship that were not on scholarship. And they got promo codes saying, hey, if you use BYU Jimmy, when you purchase your Built Bar at checkout, you'll get nothing, right? Like that's what we're doing. And I think that deal, as revolutionary as it was, as groundbreaking as the Built Bar deal at BYU was, I think it's standard practice now. I think it's 100% standard practice. I think every player is going to be driving a car. I think you're going to see luxury condos. I think you're going to see at some point, my belief is that you're going to even see, hey, he's a Nike athlete now. You're going to see Shedeur Sanders is a Nike athlete now. You're like, that's the way that this is moving. And it should have been allowed to happen decades ago.
Right.
Video game money should have gone to the athletes in the video game. How did it not? This was always an eventuality. Always. And I think now my biggest question is, what does this mean to the Super League? Because if you're going to give up billions, and these schools are going to pay out billions in this settlement, do you think they're just going to let that money go? I would say not.
Of course not.
They're going to remake that money somehow. And Greg Sankey can sit here and talk about how he and the Big Ten are already moving into a revenue sharing model. Well, everybody's moving into a revenue sharing model.
Yeah.
Right? So that's all well and good. Everybody's moving to a revenue sharing model. You don't have a choice. My question is, what does this do to bring private money into big-time college football? Which I also think is inevitable. And the Super League, as I've told you, I don't think it's a matter of if, but when.
Yeah.
It is inevitable. I've heard it from too many people. I'm telling you now, the Super League, and it may not be in the next 5 years. I think it could be as soon as 3 years from now. But it's happening. It's an eventuality. As were these NIL lawsuits, as were these settlements, as was revenue sharing, as was they're never going to be employees. There's no way they're going to be employees, but they're going to get paid. There's no question about that. You can see I think we try to complicate this stuff. It's not complicated.
Yeah.
Where money is, that's where the game will go, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I absolutely think that's the case. And I think that it's crazy that, all this scheming and stuff has had to happen like behind closed doors and in the darkness of the night. They're handing out envelopes full of money to these kids illegally. Like, it's crazy that we've had to go through all of that. And it's things like Reggie getting the Heisman back and being back in good faith that I'm like, hey, there's a bit of a changing of the guard happening, like philosophically. Like, people are starting to see, hey, yeah, maybe, you know what? Yeah, maybe we should correct that. Maybe
should they be employees?
I just don't think it's possible structure wise. It's too big. Like, I think what you have to do is what we're talking about, and that's figure out the compensation on the big picture, on the big scale, and that concept of big picture, big scale applies to the college football playoff structure and the Super League thing and NIL, and like it has to work for everybody, for the entire system to thrive. And that's why when you look at, what Greg Sankey was saying, it stands out so much to me that on one hand, he's saying, hey, like, I'm not talking about the Super League because we're thriving, right? And on the other hand, he's not wanting to talk about, change in college football structure because he's saying, hey, well, people are investing in the sport. Like, it's fine.
Yeah.
And so my point is, okay, cool. Now that we're working towards a settlement and this part of it's getting figured out, the next thing in line is going to be figuring out creating a structure. It's not changing it to benefit everybody. It's creating a structure that allows the money to flow properly through the sport.
But here's the issue. It's the unintended consequences.
Yeah, who the hell knows what those are, right?
It's going to be,
but they're coming.
Anytime the man gives you money, what's he going to do? What's he going to do after he gives you money? He's going to take his thumb and he's going to put it right on your fucking head.
Yeah.
So you're not going to transfer. You're not going to opt out of bowl games. You're not going to, like you have to understand when you take a bag you're not getting that bag for free. And you're not paying them back by doing social media or driving their truck or eating their food.
Yeah.
You take that money in exchange for your freedom. You take that money in exchange for free will. They're paying you to do what you're told when you're told to do it.
Right.
And I think, and I could be wrong about this, I believe that you are going to structure this in a way that every athlete can, any athlete can do NIL now. But I think we all know there's going to be a very small sliver of athlete that gets it.
Yeah.
And why are the universities wanting to run NIL? Because then it protects them from things like inequality, lawsuits on that level, right? But they're doing it to constrict and restrict the freedoms and the choices of the athletes that are in their control. Because money is power. Money is control at this level. So I understand that everybody wants this. I understand. Hey, we don't want to be employees. We want to be 1099s. Totally get that.
Yeah.
We want to get paid. Totally get that. We want revenue sharing. Totally get that. What are you giving in exchange for that? And if you think the answer is nothing, you're completely wrong.
Yeah. Totally agree.
Because you're going to give up something, whether you want it to be or not.
Yeah. It's never nothing.
You're going to give up something.
Yeah.
You're going to play more games. Your season's going to get longer. Oh, you don't want it to be? Okay, give them the money back. Oh, wait, you won't do that. Oh, you don't want to wait until Super Bowl Saturday to play your championship game? Okay, give the money back. Oh, wait, you won't do that. Oh, you want to opt out of the bowl game and go get ready for the combine? Yeah, sorry, can't do that. We paid you to play that game. That's going to happen. And you can try and write that stuff into riders, which are, addendums to contracts, and you can try and do that. Do you want the money or not?
Yeah.
And that's where this lack of oversight, these kids that run up and don't have agents or don't have agents with scruples or don't have moms and dads that can, help them navigate those waters. Because one of the sports that this is becoming a major thing in is golf. Golf is in, again, if you just had a baby bounce off of your wife's thighs, put a golf club in his hands.
Yeah.
Put a golf club in her hands.
Yeah.
Because you want your kid to get paid without brain damage, go play golf.
Yeah.
Go play golf.
Well, and I think, what's so interesting about golf is I don't think people understand that compared to other sports, getting to the tour for a college golfer really is not that difficult. All you need to do is qualify for some events through playing well in the qualifying event. And then you're basically on your way. It's not this thing. It's not like football where, hey, you got to go out and beat someone who's just so much better than you. And like these college golfers don't have to play Tiger Woods to get to the next level. You know what I mean? They don't have to play Scotty Scheffler the way that, Tulsa's got to play Alabama. That's not how it works. So for golfers, I totally agree. And I still feel like it flies way under the radar. Nobody thinks about golf as a sport that's pretty much all about the money at every single level. That's the only reason LIV is in existence, because dudes wanted to be paid more money to play less golf. So yeah, I would say golf is going to push towards the forefront pretty quick.
I think NIL money in golf is going to explode. I think, the other one that I think a lot of people don't think about, NIL money in baseball and stick and ball sports has to happen. And why is that? Because now I think you're going to see less money going to those lower tier sports.
Yeah.
So how are you going to fund those lower tier sports? NIL deals. And it's not going to be good enough that you're a Nike school, an Adidas school, an Under Armour school. You're going to have to drive new revenue through those lower tier sports, volleyball, football, lacrosse, right? Lacrosse is another one where funding is prevalent. So I'm telling you, the unintended consequences of this stuff, it'll be very interesting to see how all that plays out.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Daniel Dixon, hello. Government taxing players be part of it. Finding players for targeting too, dude. It'll be interesting to see how many people get into tax trouble with this.
Yep.
I think it's very interesting. Let's see. Paulo says Texas has private firms that control NIL. This helps keep the flow of money documented and under control. And the university will, that's all going to change the way that happens.
But
I
that's what I'm
guarantee
saying.
it.
That's why this adjustment to NIL has to happen. And then secondarily to that, whether it winds up being the Super League or like whatever change in playoff structure we get, or really change to the system we get, that has to happen in addition to this for the money to properly flow with ease.
And I also think what happened at UAB yesterday, I don't know if anybody saw this, but Trent Dilfer, the former NFL quarterback and Super Bowl champion, is the head coach at Alabama Birmingham. They all joined this new players association. And I think you're going to start seeing that now, because players are going to need a way to protect themselves. Because I do think, dude, rich old white guys did not become rich old white guys by being stupid.
Yeah.
And from the beginning of time, the powerful control other people. The powerful control the less powerful. And if you are a college athlete, you need help. You need protection. And I think this Players Association thing, I think this is just the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
I think players need protection because the powerful always control the less powerful. That's just the way the world works, man. Brandon Butler, they will be considered independent contractors. Yeah, 1099s. I think that's where it's going to head eventually. Otherwise, you would need a CBA. Yet they're never going to be employees. Forget it. Forget it. They're never going to be employees. If they become employees, they become separate from schools like a club. They'll never become employees. There's just too much legality and frankly, liability in it. They'll never become. Daniel Dixon, paying players have to end players out of bowl games then. You mean opt-outs? I think you're going to have specific stipulations that go with that money. Yes, Mike Smith, return on investment. No doubt about it. Loner Phone says Title 9, is that what you mean? Becomes an issue. Watch what happens to women's sports. It won't become an issue because you have to give equal access and opportunity. And there's no question that's going to happen. No question that's going to happen. Kaner in the NFL and Super League, here we come. I think so. Title 9 is about federal money. It won't be affected by NIL. It's equal access and opportunity. That's what Title 9 is at its core, is equal access and opportunity. You cannot say you're a woman, you're not going to get what the guys get. Why would you do that? Especially with the explosion of women's sports in this country.
Totally agree.
And again, I keep going back to what is commonly known as stick and ball sports. They're not going anywhere. They're not going anywhere. The opportunity that women's sports provide for the development, maturing, the growth, the mental health and well-being of young women in this country, it's critical. It is critical. And whether you play field hockey, whether you are a cheerleader, which people don't understand, cheerleading is a sport at college.
Yeah.
Whether you're a cheerleader, track and field, whether you are a star pitcher or just a scrub at the end of the bench, what that sport provides you and the confidence you glean from it is critically important. And it's why, and I know this is a different can of worms, it's why coaching in women's sports has to be administered very, very well. And when you see women's sports struggling, overwhelmingly, it's a lack of quality in the coaching department.
Yeah.
And you have to fix it. Have to. Big Daddy Magic. Hey, playa, it's been 45 days since BYU was humiliated in March Madness. What does that have to do with anything? What does that have to do with the price of J-Dogs in Provo? What are you talking about? What your hate of BYU is bizarre to me. Anyway, Loner Foam, buckle up, Buttercup. The game has changed and will never go back to what it was. Yeah, it's over.
Yeah,
it's over. UW fan Jim, that is the best thing I've heard. Take the money, play all of your games.
I mean, it's just how it has to be.
It is.
Like, there's no other way. Like, again, it's what you said, right? If you're gonna take the bag, you're damn well gonna play the game.
Look at college basketball. Sure. I'm happy to give you a Lamborghini. I'm happy to clothing, sunglasses, private jets. Which somebody said to me yesterday, "Hey, have you thought about airline deals for teams so they can fly charter?" I have. I think that's absolutely going to become a thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, when you look at this take the money thing, and everybody, you guys all made fun of me the other weeks when I was saying college basketball's back, one and dones are done. You're going to have to stay in college 2 years. You are going to have to play 2 years of college basketball if you want this money. And if you don't want the money, sorry, dude. Like, I'm not going to, like, I think things like that are going to happen.
Yeah.
I think you are going to, at some point, jersey patches in football. I think you are going to have to.
Well, it's what you said, like the superimposing on the field stuff during football games, right?
Yes.
Or like on the TV broadcast, they're able to, they do it in the NBA all the time now. They do it in Major League Baseball on the back of the mound now, like in hockey on the boards.
They do it in college basketball.
Yeah. So that technology is already all over sports in general. And I think that, again, it's just about maximizing revenue. Like whether you like it or not, the powers that be are going to make their money. And it's just a matter of them figuring out how to do it and keep everybody else happy. And that's all this is.
Interesting note from Adrian Wojnarowski. Timberwolves coach Chris Finch will undergo surgery to repair a right patella tendon on Wednesday, and it remains unclear whether Rudy Gobert has ever tried to be better. That's not what it says. It remains unclear whether he'll be able to open conference semifinal series versus Nuggets on the bench.
The Nuggies.
Mike Conley be damned, right? That'll be interesting. Keep an eye on that. I think this NIL thing is just the beginning.
Yeah.
This is just the beginning. Imagine if Jenny Finch was able to get an NIL deal when she played. And Enrique's, the golf route makes great sense. Put a club in your kid's hand the second he or she is born. The Big Lubbock. Hit the like button. Yes, where are we at? We are at about 1,000 views, and we're only at 50 likes.
Bro, come on, man. Come on.
This is why we can't have nice
things.
It's
like we got to 100,000 subs, and y'all just took the day off. Like
this is why we can't have nice things.
Like the train doesn't stop, man. Keep hitting the like button.
San Diego State Glenn, the envelopes were under the pillow in the hotel rooms during Bull Week. Heard that from a student athlete, family friend who played in the SEC in the 90s. Yeah, well, that's truth. You're talking about student unions, solidarity, Teamsters, athletes unite. You're going to have it. You're going to have it. Shoot, even girls NCAA wrestling is blowing up because they deserve the opportunity to compete.
Yeah.
The Nye guy, what are they playing? What are they paying Real Salt Lake? I thought Real Salt Lake folded. No, I'm kidding. I'm being a jerk. 3-day-old churros and Ted Lasso episodes. Truth. Boyd Lake, the SEO king of America. At least Kentucky is full-time BYU basketball coach now. Okay. Already doing great things for basketball at BYU. Yes.
Oh, KY. Yeah.
KY. Okay. I see what you mean. I thought you meant Kentucky. KY. I think BYU basketball has a very bright future.
Yeah.
I got to get used to the KY thing.
Oh, KY, man. Monty, what do you think of KY, man?
KY jelly? I love it.
I have to say.
Oh, wait. That's not what you meant.
That is very BYU land to be like, what do you think of KY? Can't just say Kevin.
Depends. Is it the ointment or the lube? Like which KY product are we talking about?
Well, Monty, I was talking about Kevin Young.
Oh, that's right. Here, I'm sorry. Let me hide that caffeinated beverage. My point is, great hire.
Oh, wow.
I get
top class.
It's fine. Dak at Tubbs. I love Big Daddy Magic and random ass comments like that. He hates BYU like I hate Kansas. And America.
and not Putin.
He doesn't hate America. I was kidding. But he hates Navalny, obviously. Well, he did. What in the blue hell is J-Dogs? Why is Jay eating his dogs? And what is a Ted Lasso? You don't know what Ted Lasso is. Okay. Ron Nolan. Bleed red, Big Daddy. Keep it coming. Go Utes. Delaric. UC Thule of BYU was signed by the Texans. I did.
Yeah.
I hope he makes it. It's a tough route to be an undrafted free agent. I hope he makes it. I do. Dakota Tubbs. The train doesn't stop except on Fridays. Did you guys see they broke ground on a super train between Vegas and LA? 200 miles an hour.
Smart.
Am I the only one that the first thought is, when are the terrorists going to hit that? That's the first thing I thought. I'm an asshole. I totally get it. Loner phone. Revenue is the name of the game. Students want what students want are secondary. I agree with that. Giggity. Do BYU students know what KY jelly is? Giggity. That's an honor code violation, sir.
You know.
That's an honor code violation.
Yeah, you better watch yourself.
You know. Shouty. Hey, Shouty. Good morning to you. Mike Smith. Let's get those like totals up. Don't force the Monty Show to be sold to the Saudis.
Yeah, come on, dude.
Whoa. Giggity, that's what they use to soak.
You know,
Mike Smith, super train long overdue in the U.S. Would you guys get on it?
Yeah.
You would?
Yeah, for sure. What? What's the problem, dude?
Hey, Siri. How far is it from LA to Las Vegas?
Las Vegas, Nevada is about 269 miles from Los Angeles, California by car.
Hey, Siri. Do you love me?
I think you're pretty great.
A lot.
Hey, Siri, I love you.
That's sweet.
Hey, Siri. Are you hot?
I don't really think about appearance. All I want is to be a helpful assistant.
You gotta get stroked.
Hey, Siri, keep doing a great job. Really appreciate you.
Playing all songs from Apple Music.
And the first thing she plays is a Drake song. So,
Yeah.
Honestly, I'd start stroking guys.
Is she still playing it? She is still playing it. Hey, Siri, turn off my music. Thank you. Siri doesn't want any of your KY jelly, Monty.
Yeah.
Exactly, Giggity. It's a loophole in another loophole. Wow. Put down the lube. Delaric, they're working on a super train system here in Texas. Big Blue Horses. If it was true Japanese style high-speed rail, I would ride. While you're riding?
Let's ride.
Problem is there will be a stop every 50 miles, which defeats the purpose of a high-speed anything.
Why would there be a stop every 50 miles?
I don't know. But if can you imagine, like, you could be there in an hour?
Yeah.
That would be
When's
awesome.
the last time you rode a train? It's been so long.
It's been a while.
Like, I couldn't tell you.
It might be in London. It might be. It very might be. Boyd Lake. I was just going to say I was proud that the Monty Show mentioned BYU, KY jelly, and didn't bring up soaking. But OG Gary went there. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Big Daddy Magic. Hey, player, why do BYU women look like the Duck Dynasty cast? Why are you being mean today, Big Daddy? Like, are you just in that mood?